Our opening words are going to be a poem from Rainer, from an author that's very well known. Be patient toward all that is unsolved in your heart and try to love the questions themselves, like locked rooms and like books that are now written in a very foreign tongue. Do not now seek the answers, which cannot be given you because you would not be able to live them. And the point is to live everything. Live the questions now. Perhaps you will then gradually, without noticing it, live along some distant day into the answer.
Anyone want to come forward? You can. We're going to have this time for our Wonder Box, because this is a question box sermon, but we're not going to give the Wonder Box a break. No. Oh, thank you. So, and Jennifer's going to help me today. Would anyone like to open the Wonder Box? How about today? We're going to let her do it today, okay? Why don't you work together, okay? Oh, very nice. Do you want to hand those to Jennifer? Uh-oh.
Thank you.
What are these, Jennifer?
These are questions, strangely enough.
From whom?
They're from the youth, and I'm really interested in what they are.
So, from whom? I panicked in the moment. I didn't know if it was whom or who, and thanks for calling me out.
So these are...
She's like...
These are from the youth group.
So just as clarification, we started a few years ago having a little warm-up preseason, which has felt a little harder than some of the season, of having our youth write some questions in anticipation. So these might spur on some of yours. So I'm, again, not seen these. And Jennifer, as one of our youth advisors, has brought these today on behalf of the youth.
So one question is that we're going to start with, what's your favorite animal?
Oh, thank God. My favorite, who knows this one? It's a type of monkey. It's an orange one. It's an orangutan. Tang. I don't know how to say that one either. Is it tan? Orangutan? Oh.
There you go.
Thank you. That's it. That's my favorite. He's sort of goofy, a little wise. I'm not projecting. Go on.
Do you like Harry Potter?
Oh, wow. That is an interesting one. So Harry Potter was deeply formative for my generation. And there's been some complexity in recent decade of the author having some complicated or even mean feelings about people based on their gender. And so it's really made a lot of folks not know how to relate to Harry Potter in this modern era. But I do value the story, and the question is like a lot of things, can you separate the art from the artist? I think that the story of a friends coming together to solve, to do good is really important, and it's visible in a lot of books. Anyone have favorite books right now that they're reading? Yeah, what's your favorite right now? Wings of Fire. That one sounds cool. Is that popular? Okay, cool. What's your favorite right now? Harry Potter #5. All right, see, there's a blend, there's a mix. But I think what's really important is that we continue to try to live our values, and knowing that Harry Potter, like a lot of books, are written by very human people. And so we need to figure out what we can do to navigate those challenges. And I'm sure the youth are talking about this a bit.
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
Okay. What is your favorite Mexican dish?
Oh, my favorite Mexican dish. Well, I don't get it as much, but recently we went to a friend's birthday party and they made homemade mole, and that was like the most amazing dish ever that I ever had, and I want to have that more often, which is kind of a chocolate kind of sauce, but it's like sweet and spicy and things like that. But I think more often than not, I'll get something like enchiladas or tacos or something like that. But yeah.
What is the meaning of life?
So if you ever have Mexican food, there's this thing called mole, and it's underrated. I think the meaning of life is about finding your people, finding the people who love you and who will love you for just who you are, and spending more time with them and trying to make that more common, because there's a lot of people out there who don't have their people yet. And so by being a community like this one, some of that is about making sure everyone has a place where they can find their people and continue to draw that circle wider. That's one of the answers that we might say about that question.
Okay, can you draw one slip of paper?
Ooh.
I'll read it. Is it okay if I read it? You already answered that one.
Oh.
What is your favorite food?
Well, it could have been peanut butter.
Peanut butter? How was your day?
How was my day? Well, so far, so good. This has been nice. Everyone's been really nice to me so far. We'll see what happens once everyone writes their questions down, see how much brain buster questions there are. But so far, it's good. I don't. Sunday's my favorite day of the week because I get to spend it with all of you.
What was your favorite part of seeing Lady Gaga in concert?
So Hattie and I saw Lady Gaga a few months ago. I think my favorite part, this might be cheesy or whatever, was watching Hattie enjoy it, because Hattie has loved Lady Gaga more than me, and it's really fun to watch people you love experience something they've wanted to do for a long time, to experience their joy. So that was really cool. We were in the absolute last row, and yet it was very intimate. It felt, we were in a basketball stadium in Chicago, and it was just so fun to be around people who were dressing the way they felt, made them feel beautiful and different and loved and welcomed. And it was just really fun. So I think it was between watching people freely express themselves and also being present with someone who loves Lady Gaga as much as Hattie does.
I'm very envious.
Yeah, it's very fun.
I'm going to draw just one. You
wanna
want me to read it?
Do you believe in a God?
Ooh, do I believe in a God? Semantics there. I do, but I don't know. So that word God is very complicated for a lot of folks. Who are we talking about, this God character? I think that for me, I believe that there's something that brings us, that draws us all together. Maybe it's love. Maybe it is some sort of higher power or immanent power that's between us. One of the ways I like, and this is from my theater upbringing as well, is that I believe there's something really special in the space between two people, that there's something really transformative that's possible. But we're not always sure what that is, because it's improvised. There's no script to it. It's not been predetermined. Okay, and so when two people come together on a stage or in life, they start talking, and something magical can happen. And I think that some might call that God, or some might call that creativity or co-creativity. But I think all those can be really special things. And I think, like the questions earlier, I'm going to keep living into that one as well, because that's a big one.
What is your favorite place to get children chicken nuggets?
Oh, children chicken nuggets? Chicken nuggets made out. Wait a minute, chicken nuggets? There was a hungry bunch this week. I would say my favorite place to get chicken nuggets is where my daughters like to get chicken nuggets, or at least one of them, which would probably have to be the quick, easy, convenient dinner of McDonald's, which is nice. And all the parents out there who are older parents, not been parents for a while, you don't remember how much a quick, convenient meal might be the best thing you can do on a tough day. So we enjoy a nice chicken nugget. Cedar, do you want to grab one? Okay, now you read it. What's your favorite movie to watch? Oh, that's a good one. Moana. I like watching movies with my children. I would say probably Disney movies are really fun to watch. This time of year, I really like watching Home Alone, The Elf, Christmas Story. What do we got here? Okay, what is your favorite fish? Oh, okay. I'm assuming not to eat, but to watch. I would say, wow. What's the one? Sturgeon. That's a nice one. Sturgeon. It's a nice northern Wisconsin. Yeah. Is that our last one? Yes. Oh, wow. What a fishy way to end.
That is our last one.
So we're going to hope that the adults get somewhere close to the level of these questions, because they kind of warmed me up a little bit, and I'm ready for their questions later in the service. And I'm really excited, in a couple weeks, you all, I think, are going to be doing some type of pageant, Christmas pageant, here on Sunday morning, and I can't wait for that service as well. So you're going to go out to your classes now, and we'll sing you out to your classes. This is it. Another year, another question. What's on the minds and hearts of our community? Now, if you were like, I didn't get to write my question down yet, and you still want to write one, throughout these next 20 minutes or so, Jennifer will collect new ones. And if we have time, we'll get to all of these. So just raise your hand with it, and Jennifer will collect them. But again, these have not been viewed. This one was great. Who wrote this one? No, I'm just kidding. This is great. I like this one. This is good. Self-portrait of me. Okay, so here we go. The questions. What do you see as a new challenge for UUCCI in 2026? Excellent question. So for me, the critical question that's facing us in 2026 is, how are we going to meet this critical moment of heightened emergencies happening throughout our nation, and having a loving community that has at least some answers to how we can build alternative ways of responding with love and justice and generosity and pluralism and things like that. The question that faces us is, will we have a big enough vision to hold an ever-growing community so that we can meet this moment that we're in? And some of that will get to the question of, what additional resources and physical spaces will we need in order to meet the wonderful people who continue to come through our doors, who want to be a part of this community and will continue to come through in this coming year. So the board has put together, as we mentioned in 2020 at the annual meeting last month, a campus master planning committee that has 10 wonderfully committed volunteers to begin that process, continue that process of imagining some type of physical capital campaign should that come to pass in the coming, moving forward in the coming year. So that will really be front and center, expanding our footprint so that we can expand our impact in the community. What is your favorite holiday cookie or dessert? I like the ones that are like the peanut butter and then the kiss on the top. Those are classic. My mom made those all the time. Yeah, I guess that would be it. Let's see. What do you want for Christmas? Wow. Besides a larger facility that can meet all of our growing needs for this community. I think I want folks, okay, so it's like personal and then professional. Professional, I want everyone to realize just how beautiful it is to be in a community, not in these times of crisis, but all the time, to have a place like this here in Bartholomew County, that really is a miracle. The persistence, the resilience of a community like ours for 58 and a half years is a really wonderful thing. So to not take for granted, but to really love and embrace the community that is here. It's a beautiful thing. That's always a great wish that I have. What I want for, well, no, I'm not going to say it, because then people are going to be like, well, we'll get them that. No, I don't want anything. So I have a tendency to have gifts that I want for Christmas that are out of our price range. So it's a little, it's more aspirational thinking. Do you believe that organized religion in general has helped or hurt the world in the end? I would say ultimately organized religion has helped the world. There's a really good book. It was actually here yesterday at the holiday market. Someone bought it, called Angels of Our Better Nature by Steven Pinker. That one talks about the history of violence in the world and how we're becoming a less violent species. There's a lot of research that does show that organized religion has, on the whole, helped improve civilization towards being less violent. There are clearly huge amounts of violence perpetuated in the name of religion, in the name of a spirituality or a god or a tradition. But I think it's a really hard thing to take a day of weather and say this is what it's always like, or take one act of religious extremism and say this is what religion is. Because I think you could also say that about kind of other things, and it can be a really a slippery slope of saying, nothing is good for humanity. But I also think that religion is being differently organized in this sort of secularized or post-secular society. So we're trying to organize things that are less like they were in the 70s and 80s with evangelical Christianity's kind of rise, or the use of religion towards supporting nationalistic impulses and things like that. So I think what we're doing here in reorganizing our community towards being an impact for pluralism, for being a pluralistic society, is a shift. And again, what happens in Bartholomew County is not reflective of the rippling outwards, but it is part of the different experimentations that are going with religion. And on the whole, I believe there has been more good, more than hurt, caused by organized religion. If the UU Church did not exist, what type of church would you be involved with, and would you still choose to be a minister? Yeah, boy, it's hard to know exactly. I was raised Unitarian Universalist, so it's sort of all I know. I think the reality, though, is that what we mean by Unitarian Universalism is changing so much that the Unitarian Universalism of yesteryear doesn't always seem to exist. So in that sense, religions change, and especially those who are open to changing, and ours is. And I think I would probably be more wanting to support pluralistic desires, in the world, maybe work in chaplaincy in a higher education facility that meets children, youth, young adults, of all different religious backgrounds. I think that work is really meaningful. Whether what denominational affiliation I'd be with, it'd probably be something closer like United Church of Christ or the Quakers or something like that. That would be like culturally familiar, but again, without having that lived experience, it's hard to know what that alternative universe would be. But yes, I still would feel the draw towards ministry. Do you think that giving churches tax-exempt status or other tax benefits is a violation of the separation of church and state? I don't think so, because in practice, it is a universally applicable tax status towards different religious traditions. So it's not establishing one religion over another. It's not giving some denominations a tax exemption and some not. Although, there's always new denominations that come up and have to prove kind of their IRS availability. I think this gets back to that questions of helping or hurting. There are denominations that hurt and that are given that extra tax benefit and still hurt society. But those who are trying to help community, by us not having to pay taxes, does allow us to have more impact, hopefully, for the good in community. So again, there are folks who misuse the tax-exempt status for insular or negative benefit or detriment, and there are those who, because of that, are able to have a bigger impact in society at large. Why do those who pursue absolute power do not understand or seem to care about the people, commitments they have to step on to get there? Yeah, absolute power is sort of an illusion. It's something that is seductive. To people who have power, they want more of it and more of it. And the question is our society able to put on some guardrails to prevent that vision, that myth, that any one person has all the answers or any one person can solve all the problems. So I think when you get into a more selfish kind of worldview, that it's about me, self-centered, only I can fix it kind of thing, then you're starting to get into a worldview where others are less than me. And less than me is less than human or superhuman, and therefore closer towards non-human. And that dehumanization process can lead people lead one to treating them in proportional to how they view them anthropologically. And so I think it's a natural outcome of people having delusions of grandeur. And again, the piece we need to have is try to talk about the power of the people, or the power of the collective ecology that goes beyond people, towards how we're building shared power in relationship to nature and land and space and time. So, but there's a lot of sickness, and there's a lot of mental health challenges that face often corrupt leaders, because there's an enabling that often goes with that as well from people around them. Are you familiar with the concept of vertical and horizontal morality? Yes. So there's sort of the vertical, and then the horizontal, like, who was this? Was this John Wesley? Was this, I forget. I feel like it comes up in ethics or theology or questions, or sort of, obeying God and sort of supporting your fellow humans and things like that. Let's see if there's a question. And horizontal morality for both religion and politics. It was phrased like a yes, no. I guess I would say yes. No, and then, but I think part of it relates to it relates to kind of this pattern between orthodoxy and orthopraxy. We've talked about this in the past. An orthodoxic religion is about right belief, very specific. Your morality is based on following the beliefs to the T. A creedal kind of faith. Covenantal faith, or more orthopraxic faith, is one that's focused on your actions and the application of your beliefs in practice. And Unitarian Universalists have been for hundreds of years an orthopraxic faith that focuses on living a lived religion, or a living religion, and that would, to me, be more in alignment with a horizontal morality, and less ultimately concerned, or maybe ultimately concerned with questions around God or the afterlife or things like that. We're more focused on the questions of the here and now and the practical applications of our faith. How do you define spirituality? I would say one could call spirituality is kind of that deepest sense of the genuine or essence within you. How you define that, how what that voice or discernment is within you, is your unique spirituality. There might be a spirituality that connects people across, so spirituality like the spirit of life that kind of flows in and through and among, whether metaphorical or literal, how you understand that. So a spirituality, though, is something that is about like your very personality. So when you say your personality and spirituality, I think that those can go hand in hand, but maybe it's trying to get towards even a more essential piece than my personality is extroverted, or my behavior is, or whatever. So I think spirituality goes to that deeper sense of what is your name and who are you. And I refer back to the Sound of the Genuine sermon in October, that was speaking a lot to the questions of listening for the genuine within yourself. What do you think happens to you when you die? Me? No. I think that we return to the earth in a loving regeneration of our resources that we came into this world with, which is organic matter and hope. that the world can be better because you were born. You know, like we say, every night a child is born is a holy night. That's one of the poems we read on Christmas Eve. Every night a child is born is a holy night. One more redeemer, one more person to bring love back into the world. And so similarly, upon death, I think we return that gift of love and hope to the earth, and hopefully that will inspire the next to come about and bring that redemption to the world. I also think we live on in our memories and in our relationships to others, and everything else we'll find out. Well, I'll find out. You'll find out too, probably, but we won't find out, or we will. And so I have to kind of go with what feels right in this moment, and for what feels right in this moment is living in a way that at the end of my life I will feel like it was a life well lived. Can one have a spiritual relationship with AI? Great question. I would say it depends how you understand spirituality. It depends how you understand artificial intelligence, what you think, what the there is. But I don't think I'm one to define what people's psychology or spirituality, what the parameters of it can be, right? I mean, I think it's just sort of, it's very arrogant. I think there's policy issues, legal issues, and things like that around AI, but in regards to how one relates to AI, it feels like a deeply personal matter that would be hard for me to say, how dare you, have a spiritual relationship with AI, or because one, I don't know what your spirituality is, and I don't know, you know what I mean? So it just feels like not a gotcha question, but a question that is really hard to have a clear black and white answer, So I would say the biggest thing we can do is try and, like with all our relationships, figure out what our core values are, how we use technology and relationships, and make sure we're centering those. How do you stay so positive? I don't know if I guess I'm positive. I think mostly it's just trying to be believing in human beings. I have a high optimism around what human beings are and what they can do, and to try to just look at the next step. The next step of compassion. What's the next act of compassion I can do in the world, and to not avoid the pain or the suffering of the world, but to understand that as a part of what drives me to do good in the world. What is UUCCI's position on empty bowls? When will you graduate from your new doctorate program focus? So Empty Bowls was a food insecurity initiative program that continues to exist. We volunteer, many of you volunteer every year. It's in a state of a bit of transition right now and requires some discernment around how can it continue to be sustainable in the years to come. I would say, based on the way people participate and its origin through some of the people here in this community 25 years ago, our position is good, positive, that we need to continue to address food insecurity. And the question is, with what vehicles and in what sustainable way can be doing that. Movie nights from Helena. I think probably, like, what do I watch on a movie night? Last night we watched we're watching all the Oscar-nominated Best Pictures of all time, which began in 1928, 29, and we're doing randomly. Right now we're on 1969. Last night, Hattie and I started watching Midnight Cowboy, which is quite a movie. What do you think happens after we die? We'll get you two connected after the service. What do you want for Christmas? I appreciate the generosity. Why do you want to run this church run this church with hundreds of people? Oh, wait, why do you want to run this church with hundreds of people? I assume the emphasis is on the former part of this thing, and less like, why do you want so many people here? But maybe it is. I don't know. Matilda, excellent question. That's an 8-year-old. I would say we're in this journey together. I felt drawn here 9 years ago meeting the search committee just after the new year, 9 years ago, because I saw the potential and beauty of this place, the resilience of its journey so far, and I wanted to find a space that my wife and I could put down roots and stay long term, and so that includes finding a home that I can apply some of my ministry skills, and it does fit well with my eclectic skill sets. So I can speak some, I can help do administration some, work with children, youth, things like that, work in the community, public works, and this just felt like a great place from it. Yeah. Do you have time for pleasure reading? What would you read if you had time? I don't have time. And the other question on that other one was, when will I graduate from my doctorate program, which is May of 2027. So things go well. Judson and I will walk across the stage, and the same service, and we'll have a huge party here celebrating our 60th anniversary as a congregation. Do you ever have time for pleasure? No, I don't. So I'm just reading constantly for school, which is very pleasurable, but it's not, and I do get pleasure out of it. What keeps your energy level so lovingly high? I like that adverb, lovingly high. What methods do you use to remain positive and genuine? What was your favorite fun thing to do as a child, age 5 to 12 specifically? Again, I think being with people fills my cup. Seeing your joy, helping you find your joy is what keeps it going. To not get crushed by the pain of the world, but to face it, and to not be cold to it, but to see that connection point as an invitation of how I choose to live. Fun thing to do as a child, age 5 to 12. I enjoyed playing outside. We had a lot of neighborhood kids, and we spent a lot of time, playing in the park across the street in Milwaukee. What legacy do you hope to leave at UUCCI? Boy, I don't know. I think what we've been doing is really amazing, which is come out of the pandemic with a sense of resilience and creativity, a desire to have strong budgets year over year, strong, generous people who want to make this place, it's a regional community. We have people who drive 35 minutes in every direction, some longer. So this is clearly an oasis. And then beyond UUCCI, there's 4 other faith communities that meet on this campus. And I think we've only scratched the surface of what that beacon is to the wider community of being a place of pluralism, and not only passive pluralism, but deeply engaged pluralism to do collective, courageous action in the wider community in these times. I think the legacy is that I was, I acted with integrity, I was present, and I chose to love. In today's opening hymn, Lover of Leaving. What is a lover of leaving? That's a good question. So people know that was written by Rumi. So there's probably tons of exegesis on that poem. If you search some of the lyrics, and it'll come up. Come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving. I don't know what I have not exegeted this piece of writing, but my sense is that the people who are drawn towards the journey, who are open to the departure and not just the arrival, that feels related to wanderer, caravan, come. I don't know. So whoever wrote that, that's your assignment by next week. I got 2 more. What will change in your life and your career when you've completed the Doctor of Ministry degree? I think I'll just feel more capable of serving this community in its complex set of adaptive challenges and opportunities. I think that I'll feel more equipped it's a professional leadership development. It is theoretical learning, but it's very much practical learning of how to serve in a more pluralistic setting. And that again exists, the pluralistic setting of our campus and society, but also the pluralism that exists within our own community that is often sort of erased because of a sense of sameness. when there's a lot of internal pluralism that exists here. So I hope to be more capable to serve you. Finally, why does our fall into a fascist regime not seem to bother most people around us? Whew. So I think two things. One is, I don't know if we talk enough about the F word. You know, I think there's people who are concerned around the current administration, but maybe not wanting to go to that place and have those conversations, which can be very vulnerable. I think it's a conversation we should have more here at UUCCI. So the question could be about with whom you're in conversation with. That may or may not be people who are wanting to meet you in that conversation. And so if they're not, then the conclusion could be they're not concerned about this. Why aren't they more concerned? I'm guessing if we talked more about it here, there would be a lot of solidarity and collective work that could be done in saying, what does it mean to have ministry and do programs that are preparing us to respond to rising authoritarianism or fascism? What would we be doing on Sunday mornings and throughout the week if we were thinking about how to respond to that? So I would encourage us to be more, if this is bothering you, to talk with people about it and to find ways that we can talk about it more. And I know that can be overwhelming sometimes to put yourself out there, but I think it's important. And then the second thing is, I think deep fear comes over people of facing the reality that might be happening. And so I think in that fear, we can go towards places of, denial or coming up with other solutions, or just kind of numbing our way towards it's not real. And so I think we need to respond to that. And I think as a community, we have some of the skill sets right here within this room to respond to this really growing threat of our time.